to International Dispute Negotiation, your guide to resolving disputes everywhere.
This is Mike McElrath, and this podcast is about different ways of accepting and managing the risks of dispute resolution, presenting them through the eyes of experts from different countries and backgrounds. We're here with a very difficult situation that we're going to try to address today. Could as kind colleagues who've taken the time to work this problem through with me, can you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, Michael, my name's Tim Hardy from CMS Cameron McKenna in London. I'm head of the commercial litigation group there, and I have experience of dealing with problems in Russia for litigants. So hopefully I'll be able to give you some advice of value today.
Okay, and здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте. I am a Russian, and I live in Moscow. I was born there and lived all my life there. I am a mediator. I can call myself a mediator because in Russia you can call yourself anything. And
Can I call myself the Tsar?
Yes. Yes.
The Tsar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, there are a lot of people calling themselves the Tsar or the descendant of the Tsar.
Or Napoleon. Or
Yeah, whatever. And so I'm not a lawyer, but still I am a mediator. And it is just not being in labor yet, but in embryonic stage. But still there are some cases resolved by mediation in Russia. But business people don't know actually what it is. Sometimes I got a call from my friends and say, our management is in litigation, and when they are in the UK courts, it's mandatory that they have to try mediation. And I say, can you please come and explain what mediation is? And when I come to talk with CEOs and say, what is that? Are we going to do the yoga exercise? Or because it's mediation and meditation. In Russia, it's also mediaция and meditaция. So it's very confusing, and people who don't know mediation,
Right. The name can be confusing in some places.
they think that they need to do some yoga exercises and do a relaxation or something. So it's a very new thing for business people.
So we have a new in many fronts here, and so it's going to be an unusual challenge for us. Let me introduce the problem that we're going to discuss today. I'm representing a business, it could be my business or any business, that is looking at a large and important contract for us in Russia. It looks like we have all of the terms of the deal outlined. It looks like it would be a profitable contract, allow us to get a foothold in an important market segment that we would like to grow in. So very attractive. We'd like, actually, the people on the other side, very good relationship. The problem is they've said to us, we insist on dispute resolution in Russia under Russian law. They want to have us in the courts. They might be open to arbitration, but they say it's got to be in Russia. Now, Tim, is that... given your experience with litigating with Russian entities or litigating there, what do you think? Is that the guys are telling me, or the guys and the ladies are telling me this is a deal breaker, that we may, if we don't accept or manage to find a solution on this point, we may not be able to do the contract.
That's a very tough one. Michael, I cannot tell you strongly enough how problematic I think it would be for you, could be for you, if you agree to litigate through the Russian courts. They are not just slow and unreliable, the quality of their judiciary is somewhat poor next to our standards, and
we could say they're not known to be independent sometimes.
No, absolutely.
Reputation is not on par yet with other...
Absolutely. But the process would not give you the confidence that you could have the outcome that you would expect from a dispute. And I would advise you in the strongest terms that it would be a deal breaker if they absolutely insist that it has to be litigated through the Russian courts.
But you're not... litigator.
I'm not a lawyer, I'm not litigator, but it is very interesting that the Russian company insists on that, because this is an issue to discover. Why they want the Russian courts to be the place where they litigate, because Russian companies do not trust Russian courts.
Really?
That's a very interesting thing why they insist that, because most of the Russian companies, even between Russian companies, in the contracts, they put ICC as an arbitrating body, or courts in London.
Right.
And it's because...
so you say a serious Russian company is probably not going to want to rely themselves on the courts, is what you're saying.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly, because it is public knowledge that, first of all, Russian courts, they are overloaded with cases, just overloaded. And in the Russian commercial courts, for example, you have a certain period where you have to make a decision.
But also the judiciary do not have the experience of dealing with complex commercial disputes, and in my experience, their law is not developed and in a way that enables them to grasp the issues.
Exactly, because I was working with a multinational company a long time ago. It was 17 years ago, actually, when there was a case which started to be litigated, and it came to the point where there should be a higher body to decide. And you will laugh now, that body does not exist.
You're right.
So that's, I mean, it's not very developed. I can't say that the judges are working badly or something wrong, but it's not really up to the level which foreign company, for example.
Even Russian companies. Well,
yes.
I just checked back with our commercial team, and in fact, they say that in fact the company want arbitration in Russia. Well, yeah, that's arbitration, right? That ought to be okay. We can, arbitration, doesn't that fix the problem, and we don't have to worry about the courts anymore? And
not entirely. There is a solution where you can have the arbitration in Russia, provided the seat of the arbitration were in another jurisdiction where you had confidence in the judicial process, because if the arbitrators misbehave within your arbitration in Russia and you have to go to the Russian court to resolve that issue, you're back into the problems with the Russian court system.
But isn't there a special court in Moscow for the arbitration court to hear these issues? Or is that not something, you think you just default right into the courts there?
You go straight into the courts.
So if the seat of the arbitration, the official place of arbitration, is going to be really important here. Well, there's a problem here, because they're telling us it's got to be cited in Russia.
Well, can I say something? I've got a lot of experience of negotiating with Russians, and one of the things I have discovered is you never actually know what they really want, and something that they put forward as being a deal breaker isn't at all. But they want something else somewhere else. Irena, have you experience of this?
You are just right to the point. That's why earlier I said that you have to ask them why they insist on that, because there is something strange here. Why they insist on dispute, if a dispute arises, to be under the Russian legislation between a Russian company and a foreign company. And this is really, really interesting. And probably there should be a mediator to help to find out